Okay, so in this video I'm going to go over how university works. Okay, so first we're going to start with grades. So GPA, you've probably heard me talk about this a lot. What is GPA? It's called your grade point average, and they calculate different kinds. So there's annual grade point average, which basically what they do is they calculate your GPA for the entire semester, and then there's cumulative grade point average, CGPA. That's all the courses you've taken, they combine it together and they calculate the GPA for all that. What is GPA? So GPA is, let's say I go to U of T, and I hope you guys do too, but I'm not going to force you. And basically what it is so right now you're in high school, you get a percentage, right? In university, they take that percentage and they turn it into a number, from 1 to 4. So I actually have it right here on my table. I don't know if you can see. I always have it there, so I can always know exactly what the marks are. So if you get between 85 to 100%, they say that that's a 4.0. That's the highest you can get. If you get between 80 to 84, that's translates to a 3.7. Okay, still okay. If you get between 77 and 79, that's a 3.3. Okay, if you get between 73 to 76, that translates to a 3.0. Okay, you know what? Anything below that, let's not talk about it. You ain't gonna get that low, okay? So GPA is important. Everyone calculates their grade based on GPA. They'll say like, what's your GPA? Oh, I have a 3.7. Oh, I have a 4.0. I got a 4.0 in the course. So your goal is to get a 4.0, okay? That's anything 85 and up. So let's say you get an 85, that's a 4.0. You get a 90, that's a 4.0. Okay, so you don't have to worry. But whether you get 100% in a course or 85 in a course, it's still a 4.0. That's still like perfect. So don't stress yourself out too much. The only issue is that if you go to U of T, it's really difficult to get 4.0. And there's a thing called a bell curve, so the professor will actually shift the grades down. It looks like this. My shirt. So, if I were to erase all this. Oh, I didn't go over this, but I have a few quotes on here that I write down as I listen to motivational quotes. And as I study, it kind of keeps me motivated. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? Let's see. If I erase this, you can see. So it's like this. Can you see that? Can you feel it? Okay, I can't really see, but it's like a curve like this. Is it visible on this thing? Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. Okay, so let's say these are the people, okay, so the prof, basically, when they get the marks back, they're going to look at the curve. They're going to see what's the high end of the marks. They want this to be around like 65, okay? Because if it's 95 at U of T, if it's like 95, let's say they wrote the exam and the question and they get the average back, and this is most of the class. This is the top end of the class, the really, really smart people, intelligent people that work really hard, okay? These are the people that haven't worked at all. They were like out eating chicken wings the night before their exam. So let's say the average was 95. That is way too high. The profs can't submit that to the registrar, the office, because then they're the dean, because that signifies that their exam that they wrote wasn't a good indication of the abilities of the class. It was too easy. So they want to make sure that this average is around like 60s, 65 to about like 75, okay? I've never seen a class average that was like, I don't even think I've seen any class average that was 75. It's mostly been like 50 average to like 60, 65. 60s, they think it's good, which means the average of the class is pretty balanced. Most people get 60s. So let's say that the class average is, let's say, 80. They think that's too high, that it wasn't a good indication. What they'll do is they'll shift the curve down. So they'll move the curve from here down to here. Okay? So it's like they're subtracting 5% out of everyone. So if you got like 80, now you're at 75. Okay? Let's say you were at a 60, now you're at 55. And they could do this by taking out the questions that were too easy, or just like, I don't know how it works. I'm pretty sure this is how it works. Okay? Don't quote me on this. But apparently they're not allowed to do this if you ask the prof. But, I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure they do it. See, so this is an issue. This is where the issue lies. Because if you're at an 80, you subtract 5%, you're now at a 75. And where's my little sticky? An 80 was before a 3.7. Now 75, now you're at a 3.3. But let's look at this. You're 60, okay, you got a 60 before, now you're at a 55. You're in the 50s. That's the red zone. You don't want to be there. So where you want to be is around here. So let's say you get a 90, right? You get shift down with the bell curve, now you're at an 85. Is this a 4.0? 90? Yeah, it is. Subtract 5%, you're at an 85. That's still 4.0. You're not affected by the bell curve. 85 to, let's say you're at an 85 and go down an 80, that's still okay. So something like this is what happens in university. So you just want to make sure that your grades are always high. And this is a trick. Always do, like, go ham on the midterm. Because on the midterm, they're going to use that as an indication of how the class is doing. If the mark is really high for the midterm, the average, the exam is going to be a killer. It's going to kill you. So that when the final grades come out, the class average is around like 65. Again, okay? So you want to make sure that you kill the midterm. So no matter how hard they make the final, it's still going to be okay. For example, in my anatomy course, I got like a 93 on the exam. The final exam was insane. The class average on the final exam was like 60 something. And because I got so high on the midterm, which was worth like 30%, and I did really well on the other exams, I still finished with a 4.0 because my grades were high enough that even though the prof made the final killer extremely hard, I still managed to keep my grade high. So it's important, do well on the midterm and use it as an indication to think about how hard the final will be, okay? The midterm is how you're going to get the good marks, okay? Think of the final as the chance to maintain the mark. The midterm determines your mark, the final maintains it. So don't think of the final as a way to improve your mark. Don't. Think of the final as a way to just keep your mark the way it is. If you want to end that course with an 85, you better be getting an 85 on the midterm because you damn well can't expect the final exam to bring you up 5%. Trust me, okay? The only way, if you're an 80 and you want like an 85, you better have like a 5% bonus for coming to class, which never happens. Or like you better do well on an assignment because the final can only maintain your grade. That's at least what I've seen. The only time I've ever had an exam bring up my mark was in calculus, but that was because she killed everyone on the exam and the average was like below 50 or something. Any case, so make sure, GPA, you want a 4.0, preferably. In your first year, it's expected that you're probably not going to do so well. Don't worry about it. Some grad schools, so basically what happens is you're going to do your undergrad, which is 4 years, and you're going to pick, after your first year is done, let's go over it from the beginning. You're going to pick a subject. So let's say I was life science. Life science is like very general because I wanted science. Jimmy, I know you like engineering. I don't know, maybe there's like an engineering program. So that's called your program, okay? So you're going to pick that, okay? That's your stream. After you do 1 year in life science, where they make you do all the same courses, the same basic courses, you go into your second year. And at the end of the first year, they're going to make you choose your program. So you're going to choose either a specialist, a major, or a minor. A specialist means you're going to choose one thing and you're going to be very specialized in that one thing. A major means you choose 2 things and you're very specialized, you're okay, and you know, like, you know it well in two kinds of subjects. So let me give an example. I was a human biology specialist. I am. So I know human biology and I'm going to know it very well. Most of my courses are already decided for me. And at the end, I'm going to have like a science degree, a Bachelor of Arts and Science, whatever it is, but my specialist was in human biology. You can also do, let's say for example, a human biology major and a psychology major. So that means that I'm going to know human biology not as well as the specialist, but I'm still going to know it pretty well. We're still probably going to be taking a few of the same courses, and I'm going to know psychology pretty well, okay? So then I have a double major. You can also do minors. A minor is like, yeah, you kind of know it okay. So let's say for a specialist, you have to take like 6, okay, I don't really know it like like the numbers really well, but in the specialist, most of your courses are going to be decided for you. They'll say you have to take this, 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 this. In the major, let's say you're doing human biology major, they'll say you have to do this and just pick any of these ones. Pick one of these, okay? And you have to have a credit. It's called a credit, half credit. Half a credit is a semester, okay? You have to have half a credit in this. the reason why some people choose a specialist, no, let's say a major and not a specialist is considered as a little bit more difficult, and you have to take a few courses that will definitely drop your GPA if you're not that intelligent. So for example, when I did my specialist, I had to take a semester of physics. If you do your major, you don't have to do physics at all. I had to do a semester of calculus. No, I had to do a full year of physics and calculus. And if you take a major, you don't have to do that at all. So a lot of the hard courses that can drop your GPA, you don't have to take it. And that's why a few people choose major. You also have more choices of electives. Electives are things that you don't really need to take, but you just take it as just fill in your full course load. And so yeah, you're gonna have to pick that. You have to register. At the end of the year, you have to register for it, and if your grades are good enough, they'll accept you in it. Specialist is a little bit more competitive to get into. Yeah, so you have that. Also, okay, so we went over specialist. Oh, GPA. Back to GPA for a sec. Even though I said anything over 85 is considered a 4.0, for me, it's not. Because you have to think about where you want to go. So for me, I want to go to medical school, right? I want to go into the medical stream. When you go to consider going into medical school, they're going to take the average that you have and they're going to reformulate it according to the OMSAT scale, which is another scale. So at the end of my 4 years of undergrad, I'm going to submit my marks to this other, let's say, organization, and they're going to reformulate my GPA. So instead of an 85 being a 4.0, a 90 is now considered a 4.0. And my 85 is only a 3.9 according to their standards. So it basically kind of drops my GPA because they're really filtering out and they only want the best of the best. So you have to keep that in mind when you're studying for your courses. So when I study, I have to think, when other people study, they think, okay, as long as I finish with an 85, that's fine, it's still 4.0. I can't do that. I have to think, okay, I need a 90 in this course to have a 4.0, because at the OMSAT scale, a 90 is a 4.0. So if I only get an 85, then that means I'm only getting a 3.9 in this course. And the people that are applying to med school, they all have a 3.9 GPA. That's considered competitive. That's what they applied with in the years prior. So I have to keep that in mind as well. What else? Okay, so also for your course load, you're going to be taking 5 courses per semester, so a total of 10 courses a year. It may seem like a lot coming from high school where you're only taking 8 courses a year, and that's what I thought too, but trust me, it's not that bad. Everyone does it, you're going to be fine, just take it. One thing I can recommend is any courses that you think you're going to struggle in, perhaps consider taking it in the summer. Oh, another thing before I forget, you're going to have breadth requirements if you go to U of T, and it's just like high school. There's some courses that you absolutely have to take. They're going to say you have to take a course in science, you have to take a course in humanities, the English, in order to get your degree. Okay, so you always have to satisfy those breadth requirements. You can do that with your electives. You're going to have to take 10 courses throughout the year, but this is the thing. Again, it depends on where you want to go. Since I want to go to medical school, they basically say you need to take 10 courses a year, and 6 of them have to be at your year level. So when you go to university, again, there's course codes. There's just so much I have to talk to you about. So at U of T, you have the thing called A levels. So that would be Bio A01, and then you have B and C, so it'll be Bio C, Bio, and then Bio D. Okay, so this Bio A, Bio is the subject, so that's biology. A is the level. So A means it's usually for first years. B means you're gonna take that in your second year. C, third year. D is your fourth year. And A01 is just the course. So for example, you're gonna have Bio A01, that's the first year course that everyone has to take. Bio B, and the number after that tells you what course it is. So Bio tells you that it's a biology course, B tells you that it's a second year course, and then the number, let's say it's 32. 32 means that it's anatomy. 34 means that it's human physiology. Let's say it's 20 means that it's talking about the brain. So the number after it tells you what it's talking about. As you go from A, B, C to D, it gets more advanced. The D levels are for 4th year students. And if you apply to medical school, or depending on what it is, they want to see that you're not taking, let's say you're in your 4th year, that you're not taking all A levels, because they consider A levels a little bit easier than the D levels. That's not true though, it kind of gets easier as you go down, but yeah, so you want to make sure if you're applying to like medical school, you want to check your engineering, whatever it is, that they don't have restrictions on it. Like for me, I'm restricted, I have to take a year, at least 6 at my current level. So I'm in 3rd year, so 6 of my courses have to be C's. So whatever it is I'm taking, I have to make sure that 6 courses have the C in them, okay? And what else? Yeah. Watch out for that. I'm also restricted. I have to take 10 courses. But honestly, if you're not restricted, I wouldn't recommend it. Because I know a guy, he's taking only 3 courses a semester, and he's getting okay, if that was me, I'd be getting really high grades. Because you only have 3 courses, that's not a lot. And look, you can, okay, there's 2 ways to go about this. You can, so this is how it works here. I don't know if you can see, can you see? I just realized I might have blocked everything. In any case, okay. So this is, let's say these are your semesters, right? You have to take 5 courses, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it adds up to 10. What you can actually do is you can just take like 3 courses during the year, 3 courses one semester, 3 courses the next semester, and then take the summer semester and take another 3. That's about 9 courses right there. Okay, it's still, and maybe you can like take out an elective that you really didn't have to take anyways. So you're still completing that full year like everyone else, but you're just taking your time. You're doing it slow, you're relaxing, you know, you have only 3 courses a semester. That's not so bad. You can get high grades. If you don't want to take 10 courses a full year, just take 6 and then take summer school as well. And also, if you take summer school, some medical schools, they don't look at your marks that you get in summer school. So people, what they do is they take their hardest courses in the summer so that no one sees those summer marks. So they get like really crappy marks in the summer, no one looks at it. But it still counts towards your C GPA in university, so your cumulative average. And why does your C GPA matter? Because when you graduate, there's going to be titles in your certificate. So if you get like a anything over a 3.0, I think you graduate with honors. You graduate with more than 3.5, you get honors with distinction. So it's just another word underneath your diploma. Yeah, so that's about the courses. How do you choose your courses? You have to go online. At U of T, we have something called Acorn or Rosie. You go online, you click on course selection, and then you're going to type in the course code you want. There's, they have the letters. So they have like F and S. So F is for September to to December courses, okay? And S is going to be from January to the end of the year. So I don't know, when is it? So let's say April, okay? So they're going to ask you for the course code. So let's say it's Bio A01, 01, and then you're going to have to write down if it's F or S. So you're going to say, okay, I'm taking this in the fall. So you write F. Okay, and then you register and then you click enroll. And another thing is, some of your courses, you have something called practicals. So let's say, again, biology, bio. You have PRA, practicals. Those are your experiments. Make sure you enroll in this. No one told me this. You have to make sure, even though you apply to be in the course, that's just the lecture. Okay, you have to apply to be in the practical as well, which is the experiments you have to go to. Okay, same thing with chemistry. You have to enroll in it. Make sure you do it fast because it's going to fill up. They have different time slots, right? You can have a lecture from 10 to 11 in the morning on Mondays and Fridays, or from Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can have it from like 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, so make sure you enroll early so that you can get into the class you want and so that you can get into the experiment time that you want. You don't want to be doing experiments at 7 p.m. at night. Get a good time. Also, you might have tutorials, TUT, which is you just go in and you work in a class. If you're taking calculus classes or sometimes anthropology classes, they'll have tutorials where you go in and you have to do in-class quizzes or assignments in class. So make sure you go to those. Another thing about the lecture, let's say you're taking Bio A01, okay? Biology A01, okay? They'll have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or on Wednesday and Friday, okay? Let's say you want the Tuesday and Thursday time slot, but it fills up, okay? And now you're stuck enrolling in the Wednesday and Friday. That's fine.